Hey guys. So, shooting my first solo video today. No jokes, just gonna talk about some Flutter development. Um, One of the main things that you might have or might have not noticed yet is that I have a new mic. And also Kaupo is not here, so sorry about that, but he'll be back in the future videos. We got some complaints about the audio being bad, so I got myself a new mic. It is a nice little mic with a I don't know, portable leg or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, it's gonna make the audio sound way better. So on the channel, we've mostly been doing mobile applications for Android, iOS. But since Flutter allows for doing also web applications, I thought it would be a great opportunity to try and speak about Flutter web applications. Flutter web isn't exactly 100% stable yet. The whole thing is still in beta, but it's still a very neat way to create a web application should you require it. And also, like on the channel, we've been thinking about branding ourselves. So AppStand is our channel's name, but we don't actually have any sort of web page yet. So we thought about maybe we should create something really simple for now, and at some point make it into something more meaningful, you know? So I went online, looked at some tutorials, and got a basic idea of how to create applications using Flutter Web. I thought it would be very different, since you would think that mobile applications and web applications aren't exactly the same thing. But when we actually think about it from the inside, if we look at Flutter's homepage, we see that Flutter is different than most other options for building mobile apps because Flutter uses neither WebView nor the OEM widgets that's shipped with the device. Instead, Flutter uses its own high-performance rendering engine to draw its widgets. And here we see how it runs its code on Android. So they are compiled with the native development kit. And what you can see here is a pretty nice sentence at the end. This is similar to the way many game engines work. And you can see it here, similar to the way many game engines work. What they mean by that is any rendering input or event handling and so on is delegated to the compiled Flutter and app code. Which means that we're just giving all of our events and whatnot that is happening on the screen and what is needed to be drawn to the screen to the Dart code. So it's essentially sort of like a canvas that you get to draw on, and you can also use it as you would a native application. And it's the same for iOS, and I guess it's the same for web applications. So yeah, that makes things sort of easier. Think of yourself as an artist that gets to draw whatever you want on the screen, you know? So anyway, I went online and I followed this tutorial here, building a web application with Flutter. There is a section here for creating a new project with web support. You gotta switch to the beta channel, you gotta upgrade. This takes forever. And then you gotta enable web. And then once it's enabled, well, I am an Android developer of many years now, so I don't really use Visual Studio Code, but I do use Android Studio. And in Android Studio, you're gonna get the option to run your code in Chrome. And once you run it, it works pretty much the same as a regular Android or iOS application. You get all of your logs here whenever you click something, and also the errors come in. And you also get the option of hot reloading onto the Chrome application. Alright, so let's see what I built. So this is our new web page. It's not 100% ready, but I think it looks good enough to show here. So this is a navigation bar, same as you would use in a regular mobile application in Flutter. And here we're gonna have an application that we are creating. So spoiler alert, we are creating a challenge application. we're gonna talk about that in the upcoming videos soon. This button isn't working yet. And then if I scroll down, we can see that there is a little welcome, pretty much like an about section. App stand was started by two friends, and they just wanted to make quality apps. So that's me and Kaupo. And here I tried something else. I made like this YouTube thumbnail here. Also this about button here, it's clickable. It's gonna scroll you down to the about section, and this one's gonna scroll you up into the home section. I thought about if I wanna add the YouTube up here, but I think it sounds kind of weird. I don't even know if this is like a very, very good design to just keep like a huge thumbnail here, but yeah, I mean, it's a work in progress, so I thought let's just leave it for now. I built it using the same programming language that I would build any of my other mobile applications in Flutter, which makes this super simple for me because I've been doing this for a little while now. I didn't have to think about any sort of like new rule sets or whatever, or any new programming language, learning curves or something like that. This was fairly good for me. Let's look at the code a little bit also. So I made a very simple application. I didn't use any sort of like complicated architecture for it or whatever. We're not gonna over engineer this just yet. It's a regular scaffold. It's got an app bar and it has a body. So just like as you would do a regular Flutter application for mobile. So let's look at it once more. There is one little gotcha that I found that I didn't know about in Flutter Web. That is that there is no scroll bar when I'm scrolling on the right here. It seems that if you want something done in Flutter, you will need to implement a new widget for it. Nothing comes out of the box as with other web frameworks, because it is still targeted mainly for mobile applications. Web support came after mobile applications, and I think they're even doing desktop support soon, so you can do desktop apps. Then it's still gonna be like mobile stuff first, you know. So what else? Oh yeah, I wanted to make this YouTube thumbnail here and these buttons clickable. And as you can see, something very simple, which is just changing the cursor into the like clickable pointer or whatever. That doesn't come out of the box. So let's see, this is a button here. The button doesn't change the cursor out of the box, so I had to implement the cursor change. So yeah, see here, I need to create like a mouse region. I need to say that I want the cursor to be the click cursor, and I needed to finally add the so-called home or about button, which I have here. The fact that there is no cursor is like testament of the fact that you are actually just on a blank canvas, and it's just allowing you to scroll the canvas right here. So it's not like a regular web page where it's intended to be one big scrollable page that you get to scroll down, because you are using a HTML page which knows how to communicate with the scroll bar on the right. But in our case, this is actually just a container for our application which allows for scrolling, yeah, but you don't actually, this isn't like HTML, you know. If we actually look at the developer tools here, see, it's just a body with an app container, and then there's just a bunch of script files here. So yeah, and also like the YouTube thumbnail here, it's gonna take you to the best YouTube page ever, which is the app stand YouTube page here. Only 72 subscribers, so if anyone likes our stuff, please subscribe. Also, you don't get any responsive layouts out of the box, so it's just gonna keep shrinking, because what I've used here is this media query of context size.height. So I am scaling all of my images using the height property, and this right here is a changing property, and it's just gonna keep on shrinking, which also makes your widget shrink if you implement the correct logic for them. You can see that by looking at the image here. So if I go bigger, the image grows, and if I go smaller, the image keeps shrinking, right? So yeah, when I was done with the web page, I was like, okay, most people are still gonna want to use this on their mobile device, and this is just gonna be unusable because you can already see that this image and this text are too big and they're not gonna fit together. So I implemented some, well, not that much, but a little bit of custom logic. And if we go smaller, see that? The icons here become visible. So this is the home and this is the about icon. So this page here stayed pretty much the same. I didn't change anything with it. But here I changed the image to go above the welcome sign, and this one also stayed the same. So yeah, in order to do that, there also needed to be some custom logic. So you don't get anything out of the box here. You still gotta implement it yourself. I'm guessing if this thing finally becomes stable, they're gonna have more and more things that you can use. But like, I think maybe like 4 months ago, you couldn't even get the cursor as easily as I did at the moment. So you need to create like a custom widget yourself for the hover animation and all that stuff. So yeah, all in all, I'd say cons. You don't get any cursors out of the box, which is weird because most front-end development like tools or whatever we're gonna call them, they're gonna give it to you out of the box, I guess. You don't get any scroll bar. You don't get any scroll bar, which is also very, very strange. But then again, you gotta understand that you're just building some views on a canvas. And also I needed to like create the responsive stuff. That wasn't too hard, but still I'm guessing that doing all of these things at the moment might have been kind of overkill, because I don't know, once this thing becomes stable, maybe most of the things that I did I just gotta throw away. And it took me the most time, which means that I might have done that for no reason. But we'll see if it becomes stable, and maybe it becomes so much easier that I won't even mind redoing that stuff, you know. Pros, I got to do it using Dart. So that's a huge pro for me because I already know Dart, I already know how to do Flutter. I just needed to check out the beta channel, needed to upgrade, and needed to use Flutter Web, and I was already creating a web page. Yeah, so it was like, I think the second web page I've ever done. It's probably not too good, but you know, it's a work in progress, and it was way easier for me to do than just use like regular HTML and CSS, because I haven't done that in a while, and I've done Flutter a lot recently, so this was much easier for me. And yeah, I also tried some other things. I tried Firebase hosting for the first time ever. So yeah, that's very simple. I just needed to go to Firebase, and in Firebase I just needed to create a new project and use hosting. And then I just downloaded Firebase CLI, added it to my MacBook system, and then I just deployed it through Android Studio here. And the result was that the application is now live on this URL. It's not like a domain or whatever, it's just what Firebase gives you, but still it's pretty cool. It was so easy to deploy. So Firebase allows for deploying Flutter Web very easily. Pretty much what you actually just gotta do is deploy this folder, the web folder, to the Firebase hosting. But before that, of course, you gotta build it with Flutter build release, I guess, to get rid of this like debug corner here. So yeah, we now have some kind of a web page, Flutter Web. If you found this interesting or you like our stuff or whatever, please subscribe, leave a comment, speak about your experiences with Flutter or how you feel about developing web applications with other frameworks or tools.